Hello, welcome back to Learn to Teach Remotely. Much like any teaching strategy, distance learning needs to have a strong, solid foundation for it to become effective. Below are a few traits of successful distance learning systems which we can get inspiration from. Number one are they are well designed and learner centered. So the courses should focus on the abilities of the learners and their habits and learning styles. So it means the materials should be user-friendly and encourages them to actively participate in the process. So example is you can cite real-world examples and activities which they can do at home. Next are self-instructional materials delivered through a variety of media and proper to the circumstances. Sims or self-instructional materials can are standalone modules which serves as your substitute. So we will look into this later on. Number three, having a system for printing, distributing, monitoring plays a big role in the success of your distance learning program. The system may not doesn't have to be very high tech. It can be a matter of assigning a dedicated personnel or person to oversee the production and the distribution of the materials. The monitoring can be done using your school existing student information system. What is important is having a detailed procedure or a set of protocols that teachers can follow for monitoring their progress. So it is crucial that we have the protocols. Number four is having a supportive system for is very crucial as well. Many learners, if not all of your learners, are actually doing this for the first time. So there will be definitely a lot of hand holding going to take place in when the classes start. So perhaps your school guidance office can set up an online platform or community or Facebook group where the students and their parents can ask for help and maybe offer support to them as well. So on the next slide, we will focus on themes and the characteristics that differentiate them from the usual textbook or workbooks. So since are standalone materials, they stand as your substitute. So they were just printed materials that are given to students, just like textbooks or workbooks. But don't be confused with Sims and textbooks because they have very different approaches. On your screen are some of the distinguishing differences between textbooks and Sims. I will no longer read this extensive list. Instead, we will focus on the 10 most important characteristics of SIM or Sims. So let's focus on these characteristics, which you might find useful when developing your own modules, whether they are printed or digital. So number one is they are written for learner use. So you will be giving them a collection of materials, which may include published materials, or if you're doing digital, they can be links from which you expect them to study often for hours. So the purpose of their study and specific direction must be clear. The materials must be pitched at their level of understanding in language. Be sure that the learners have a chance to complete the study. So the time has to be realistic. You don't bombard them or give them a lot of materials and expect them to finish it within the week. So number two is gives an estimate study time. This would allow your learners to schedule and make time for your materials. It would also help them mentally prepare for the lesson. Number three is always give aim and objectives. These are clear statements of what the teacher is planning to do and what the learners are supposed to be able to do after completing the study. So in our course right now, I have placed study guides which will serve as your note-taking tool as well as give you a preview of the knowledge or learnings you will gain from the module. Number four is emphasis on self-assessment. Learners are encouraged to check on their understanding while they're doing the work. So this will actually help them realize the course objectives. So self-assessment is very different from the questions that are usually found at the end of the book chapters. So usually self-assessment is distributed throughout the material. So these are like checkpoint questions, and these are not graded. Number five is alert to potential difficulties. The teachers or module developers, in your case, must anticipate the problems the learners might encounter. So you can provide alternative explanation, provide additional exercises or activities, and also provide examples or non-examples. So this will substitute raising the hands, because in a physical class you can tell if the students are confused. They have their puzzled look, and then they're very quiet, and some of them will raise their hands. But since everything is done remotely, you cannot have this kind of interaction with them. So anticipate that and provide additional resources or instructions for them. Number six is always offer summaries. We have what we call tell them what you are going to tell them, and then tell them what you have told them. So since have concluding section, it doesn't have to be paragraph. It can be diagram, it can just be a list, or other forms of memory aid. Number seven, the personal spoken style. The language is not formal. So adopt a tone or speech or language which are appropriate to their level. And when you're doing written or printed modules, use the first person. You try to talk to them through the printed material. Number eight, chunk content. What you're making is a teaching document. You're not making a textbook or a reference material. So everything should be bite size or chunks. Okay, video should be around 6 minutes, but ideally doesn't should not exceed 9 minutes. Otherwise, they lose their attention, so you cut them. Number nine is provide skill advice. Provide help them how to study. So learning to study online is very different from a traditional setting. So you guide them through the process, not only of the lesson, but um, the online learning environment as well. So eventually they'll pick it up and they'll be good at it. But at first, you have to guide them through the process. And number 10 requires active response. So you have to include activities that that make them demonstrate their learning. So you can look at the Bloom's taxonomy of the different digital ways, digital tools you can use so that the students can demonstrate what they've learned. So again, here are the 10 characteristics of SIMS. Remember that SIMS aim is successful teaching. Your audience are the learners, not the other teachers or your supervisors who will be looking at your modules. Okay, do not design the materials for them. Design it for your students. So avoid very scholarly, wordy, formal referencing type of academic writing. Okay, so till next time, happy learning.